Back to follow-up segment tonight. As you may know, President Obama and Congress are in the process of releasing some convicted felons from prison, considering them, quote, non-violent offenders. Well, the National Association of Assistant U.S. Attorneys is opposing that action.
This is Anisha Green. She was 10 years old when she was murdered. This is her sister, Bria. She was 7. Their throats slit. They were brutally murdered, along with their mother, Irvina Hammonds. Police have charged the killer as this man, Wendell Callahan, the mother's ex-boyfriend and a convicted, violent drug trafficker. He would have still been behind bars on the day he stabbed Anisha, Bria, and their mother, except that he was given early release through a bill passed by Congress as sentencing reform.
Joining us now from Asheville, North Carolina, Steve Cook, president of the NAA USA. So your group, just so everybody understands, are current U.S. attorneys, current federal prosecutors, correct?
Yes, sir. We're all assistant United States attorneys. Correct.
Okay. So you're working for the federal government, yet the federal
Yes,
government under President Obama is telling you guys, hey, you have to be lenient to these drug dealers, cocaine, heroin, meth, crack, because they're really nonviolent offenders. And how do you guys react to that description of nonviolent offenders?
Well, everybody knows that's absurd. Drug trafficking is inherently violent. Drug traffickers are dealing in a heavy cash business. They can't resolve disputes in court. They resolve the disputes on the street, and they resolve them through violence. In addition to that, they have turfs to protect. They have witnesses to intimidate. And everything they do revolves around violence. And the suggestion that mid-level and high-level drug traffickers are nonviolent is absolutely ridiculous.
Then why is President Obama, who's leading this, and members of Congress, in his party primarily, Democrats, why are they peddling what you say is a myth?
Well, let me tell you what's going on, and this is something the public may or may not be aware of, but there are two aggressive steps that are being taken to release and have released already tens of thousands of drug traffickers from federal prison early. First, the Sentencing Commission has now gone through 3 rounds of sentence reductions, and they've made those reductions retroactive, which means we go back into the prisons, we reduce the sentences, and the average sentence reduction is 2 years. Tens of thousands of drug dealers have gotten out already through those 3 programs, and tens of thousands more in the process. Many of them, the federal prison population is about 25% illegal aliens, and that group, of course, is well represented in those getting out. So you've got that going on with the Sentencing Commission. Second thing they got going on is the president has undertaken a very, very aggressive clemency program. That clemency program is releasing already individuals back into the community who have significant drug trafficking convictions, and as well as firearms
But many
offenses.
of those people, we've studied that here, have served long periods of time. But your implication is that by releasing all of these people, it's going to make society less safe, right? That's your implication, that people are going to be more danger because these people are out of prison, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay,
and
so let me go back then to my question. I'm with you. I agree 100% that letting these people out is going to make crime go up, and Americans are going to die some. Why are they doing it? Why are they doing it?
Well, a couple things are going on. I think some are sold on this notion that we can rehabilitate large portions of the federal prison population. The sad reality is that the most recent comprehensive study on that issue shows a recidivism rate hovering around 77%. Those are scary numbers when you talk about releasing tens of thousands of experienced high-level, mid-level drug traffickers, many of whom were armed. The other segment, I think there are a substantial number of people who just want to save taxpayer money. Obviously, we think that's a false savings. And
let me submit to you, of course, let me submit to you that both of those things are subterfuge for the real issue. President Obama and many who support him believe that the criminal justice system is biased against African Americans, that poor people cannot get represented in court because they can't afford to hire good lawyers, and they get longer sentences. And that's why they're doing it, Mr. Cook. Last word.
Well, that's simply not been the case. Study after study, they've attempted to show any kind of racial bias in the judiciary, in the legislative enactment, or in enforcement. Every effort has failed. And I would challenge you by saying that there is no piece of legislation that you can pass where the enforcement is going to mirror the demographics of the community.
I understand. I don't buy that. I'm just telling you what the driver, the motivation is, in my opinion. Mr. Cook, we appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you.